This is Stacy McKibben with the Master Communicator podcast, where CEOs, C-suite executives, and senior leaders share their advice. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best leaders know how to share their ideas concisely and quickly. Let's jump right in. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Nancy Erikson, and I'm the co-founder of Total Package Professional Services, where we do all things HR. We service clients that have 1 to 1,000 employees, and we help them with everything HR related.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I can imagine right now during the time of kind of the COVID-19, that it's been an interesting time for the HR world.
Indeed, very interesting. The laws are being created by the hour, it seems, and we're having to learn and interpret them. And as you might imagine, everybody's interpreting things differently, and we have no precedent for this.
Well, and I think that's, this is the time now to be talking about strong leadership, right? Because at times where there's no precedent, this is when your, confident and strong, decisive leaders need to step out to the forefront and lead with compassion. So I'm really excited to hear what you have to say for us today. I'm curious, question number 2, from your perspective, what's the best thing about leading people?
I enjoy being able to teach, especially my team and also my clients. I don't necessarily consider myself the best teacher, but when I'm really passionate about something, I like to geek out on it and just I really enjoy being able to sit down with my team and my clients and their employees and teach them the tricks of the trade and share with them my experience.
That's amazing. I think, again, one of the best ways to learn something it even better is to teach it to someone else, right? So I think that's
totally.
That's a big piece of continued development, is teaching others. So that's a great takeaway. Question 3 for you. I often hear from other leaders that business would be great if it weren't for that pesky people part. I'm curious, being the head of people, what do you think about that?
Depends on the day what I'm going to say, but I do say that often. If you know me, you know that I like to say that I like dogs better than people.
Amen.
And being an HR person, that's maybe odd or maybe not. So yeah, people are interesting, and my job would be so easy if I could just systematize everything and make all of our systems, do all of the work, but it's not possible. And so people are necessary and also make our jobs very interesting. So yeah, I have my days that I agree with that I wish we could just do our jobs and run our business without people, but that's a silly statement when you start to break it down, right? The world is what it is because we're all different and we all think differently, even though that makes it challenging.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think, I love your answer because it's a very human answer and it's a very authentic answer. I think, most people are like, oh, dang, no, we need the people. But I think there is an undercurrent of like, do we? Like, things would be so better if there weren't the emotional component that gets thrown in, right? Unlike the dogs where they just love you no matter what and they're always there to support you, right? People don't necessarily come from that same process. So I think, again, it's honoring that part about yourself, recognizing it, and then, as you say, at the end, recognizing, again, it's still people doing business with people, and as much as we may want to have it easier, the people are the necessary part. What other successful business leaders like yourself should be on the podcast? I'm thinking about this from the terms of who should we be paying attention to in the marketplace? Like, who are some really strong, leaders in your community from your perspective?
That's a tall order to fill there, answering that question. There's a lot of good leaders. I like to surround myself with executives and entrepreneurs that inspire me. But I'll say one of the things that I've been focused on a lot with my clients kind of goes back to your last question, the people element. And I feel that a lot more people are really starting to realize to be successful, they need to have this emotional intelligence and they need to understand it. And fixing their problems sometimes goes deeper than fixing the process or implementing a policy. It's really about, how do I manage each person consistently, knowing they're all different? So I've been directing my clients to leadership coaches, executive coaches. There's a number of them. I also personally am inspired by people like Mel Robbins, who I think I would put her in that category. I love Mel Robbins.
Yes.
I listen to her audiobook sped up at 1 1/4 speed, so it gets me extra ramped up. But that's something that I think, if you could get Mel Robbins on the podcast, I'll be back with you for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But that would be my advice.
Love hers. That's a great recommendation. And again, I think, part of what you're saying is just paying attention to the environment around you and who are those folks that are in your network that, you can be learning so much from should you choose to.
Absolutely.
Question 5 for you. What piece of advice about communication would you give to other leaders?
You're not communicating as clearly or as oftenly as you think you are.
Oh. I think that's like the most profound answer to that question I've gotten so far. That's exactly it. No, you're dead on. I mean, I think we think that we've communicated. How many times do you hear your clients tell you, but I told them, and then you laugh and say, what, a whole time? Oh, did you send one whole email?
Did you follow up that conversation with an email? Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not communicating as effectively and as consistently as you think you might be. Yeah. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, magic question number 6 for you. Tell us about your favorite boss or teacher. Who's really influenced you?
Oh man, I've been really fortunate to have a lot of great bosses. I can't even tell you the number of great bosses I've had compared to the bad ones. I've only had a couple of bad ones, so I'm very fortunate. And they've all been very different. And I can't pick one, but I can tell you that they've all taught me different things, and I stay in touch with every single executive, leader, supervisor, whatever you want to call them, that I've had over the years. And I am inspired by them, and they get me going when I need a little boost. It's always good to reach out and talk to one and just, hear from them, their advice on my current situation. So I can't give you one. There's probably 10 of them that I would put in that category.
That's so cool. You really are blessed. I think, again, but part of that is your choice to learn from them. Again, I think this is a big piece that we need to recognize, is that we can learn something from everyone, whether it's somebody we enjoy working for or working with or not. And I think a lot of what we can take away is what not to do in addition to what to do. So I think, I want to give you the pat on the back to say that you recognize that you've got all those people around you that you can learn something from and take something from. I don't know that everybody sees it that way. And what do they always say? The teacher arrives when the student is ready. Have you heard that saying before?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that too, where the right person comes along right when we need them to.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Nancy. I really appreciate it. If they want to reach out to you and find out more about you or your organization, how might they do that?
Yeah, they can find us online. Our website is totalpackageps.com. Wow. Or they can give me a ring directly. I'll give you my mobile, which is connected to me at all times. It's 619-300-1194.
That's amazing. Well, again, thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate all your insights. And for more, this is Stacy McKibben, with the Master Communicator podcast. For more ideas and insights, please do go check us out at www.concilioteam.com. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks so much. Take care.